What's going on, everybody? It's Stas here, and I can't believe I'm going to say this again, but we did it again. We hit another all-time high in the stock market today, multiple all-time highs across the indexes here. We had the S&P up 0.4%, Dow up 0.5%, NASDAQ 100 up 0.1%, and the Russell also went up over 0.2%. So we're going to break down some technicals today, go over a bunch of stocks to buy now, and I also want to share with you guys what I'm doing in the markets, kind of how I'm preparing for maybe a sell-off here, and what I'm doing as the markets are pretty dang frothy. Let's just be honest at this point. So if you guys find value, hit the like button, subscribe, make sure to get some free money down below via M1 and Coinbase. And you guys could check out my Patreon. All of those are down below. So let's just get into it. At this point in time, like I said, yet again, another all-time high. S&P 500. Let's see exactly where that all-time high was hit. It was hit about 5 minutes before the close of the market at 4191.31. And we hit an all-time high this morning as well. In fact, literally every push upwards today was an all-time high for the S&P. And we're right under that 4,200 level, and it's crazy because in this month alone, in April alone, the S&P is up about 5%. That is insanity, and you guys know, I mean, historically, 1 year of returns that, I mean, a good year of return, shall I say, could range anywhere from, 7%, maybe a not so good year would be at like 5%, and a great year would be anything 10, 12, 15%, 20% plus in a year would be fantastic. So 5% in a month, that's a pretty big move overall, and the NASDAQ 100's up even more. If you guys take a look at this, MDX also hit an all-time high just before the close today at 14,050, and this is up. Get this, guys. Just in April here, it's up almost 9%. So S&P's up 5%, NASDAQ 100's up 9%. And for fun, let's take a look here at the Dow. What is the Dow up in the month of April, roughly, guys? These aren't exact numbers to the T, but roughly here we're talking, right? Dow is up about 4%, more like 3.7% so far in April, which is fantastic, right? And the Russell, let's see what the Russell's up. Well, the Russell's not doing much, but still, it's up a little bit. It's up about, 3.5% this month of April. So killer month so far, and we're only halfway through, and who knows if maybe we consolidate a bit for the rest of this month, followed by a sell-off, or we continue running up. Literally anything could happen. But to be honest, I'm leaning more towards us cooling off a bit. Maybe not now in the middle of the month, but as the month wraps up, I think we're going to cool off a bit. So maybe not next week, or maybe even next week, who knows? But the following week, we're going to get some sort of pullback. And I'm not trying to call it to the T what day it's going to happen. I mean, I'm not a fortune teller, guys, you know this, but at some point within the next couple of weeks, let's say, we need to see some sort of pull down. It has to happen. And until we get that confirmation of a dump, I mean, it's not happening, and we have to trade what we see in front of us. And as of now, again, we're not getting a dump whatsoever. The bulls are just crushing it, and that's how we have to play it, right? We have to play what is in front of us. So SPY hit almost 418. That's close to an all-time high, like I've been saying. QQQ is on an absolute tear. So what do you guys think about all of this going on? Let me know down below in the comments. I kind of gave you all a little 2-3 minute rundown of what I think. And the VIX is down as well today, down 2%. VIX is down almost under 16. In fact, it did go under 16 a couple days ago, and this is a yearly low. And at this point, it's past a yearly low. I mean, it hasn't been this low since, I believe, the beginning of 2020. So we're about at a 15-month low on the VIX, and you guys can see that. Let's see on the 3-year chart. Maybe you can see that. Yeah, it was early 2020. That was the last time we were at these levels. So, yeah, guys, VIX is at not an all-time low, but it's at a 15-month low, 14-month low roughly, which is interesting. Keep that in mind. The fear index volatility is down a ton, and this could spike back up in no time, in my opinion. Mid-20s like that, snap of a finger. But we're not there yet. We have to be careful and just be patient and see how things end up playing out. And of course, again, I'd love to know your thoughts down below in the comments, and make sure to hit that like button if you guys are enjoying the content. Thank you so much. That does help me out a lot here on YouTube. So stock number one that I'm watching for next week for sure is going to be Pinterest, P-I-N-S. We got some news today that maybe the next quarter that they're about to report for is not going to be the best, and that kind of spooked the stock out. It went down 9.7% today. Big drop. You guys can see that. From $84 all the way down to $75. It dropped about 11% at its worst, and it closed down almost 10%. And this is because Cleveland Research came out, and I was reading this on a Seeking Alpha article, and shout out to that person that shared that with me in the Discord chat, which is free, link down below. Make sure you guys check that out. I was reading this article, and it noted that Cleveland Research's data indicates that, quote unquote, some omni-channel retailers are seeing Pinterest spending decelerating, end quote. And Cleveland Research says Q1 looks like it ended softer than mid-quarter expectations would indicate, and some agencies / partners noting a deceleration from Q4 levels. That's what they're noticing, and that was in that Seeking Alpha article, and that's kind of what prompted this sell-off at the end of the day, down 10%, and that's with earnings coming up this upcoming week, I believe, right? Let me double, or is it early May? It might be early May. Yeah, I was wrong. Or end of April. So about 11 days from today, they're going to be reporting earnings, and the question here is this going to be kind of a one-off little sell-off after we got this news, or is this going to rebound into earnings? And I'm kind of leaning towards maybe we see a little bit more selling pressure to the low 70s at the lowest point. I don't really see it going much lower than that before earnings. And ultimately, I think it could recover and see a rally into earnings. I believe the stock could completely shake this one off, and I could be wrong, but at this point in time, technically speaking, we are holding above 75, 76. That is a good sign considering that was the high point back in December through January. Then we broke out, hit about $90, and we've held about 75 multiple times in the past. So this could be a point where we hold it again, right around the 180 moving average on the 4-hour chart as well. And maybe we rally up and fill the gap to about $81, $82. Because again, guys, we were at $84 literally today. So let's say we get a day or two of consolidation, maybe some more volatility after this news came out, and then we spike back up. I think that could ultimately happen. We could fill the gap right back to $80, $82. I think that's very possible, and we could make a quick not a quick. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme or anything like that. I mean, you guys know, that's not what this channel is about. But we could make, let's not say quick, but it could be a play. Let's just put it that way. It could be a play of about 7-8% from $76, $77, $78, depending on when we get in. Again, like I said, up to maybe $80, $82, $83. Heck, maybe even $85 if it were to see a full-on recovery. And what I could compare this to, and this just popped in my head, this is actually a good example. Visa, guys, Visa. And it's not the same situation. Visa had an investigation, antitrust. We're not going to get into that now. But the stock collapsed. If you guys remember that, it was a couple weeks ago, and we called this out. The stock collapsed from 225 to about 208. And I mentioned how, look, we might consolidate a bit there, but ultimately I think this is a great stock. It's going to recover and fill that gap right up. Now, fast forward a couple weeks, that ended up happening. We went from 225, like I said, to 208, 205, and now we filled all the way back up to 225. So if you guys were able to catch that, let me know in the comments. That was a great move right there. And maybe Pinterest doesn't do that. Who knows? I could be wrong. But I think there's potential it does do that. and maybe, again, we see consolidation for a couple days, then we fill the gap up slowly. That is what I'm looking at here for Pinterest. TTCF is another one I'm watching. Tattooed Chef. I own this stock. I've been buying it on the way down. I mean, I have shares ranging from $23, $24, all the way down to $18. I recently bought some this week that just ended. I added more to my position. And this is one that I like as a swing trade and as a long-term play. And today we went up 3%. Solid day overall for Tattooed Chef. And the key spot that I'm looking for it to break, you guys could probably guess it by looking at the chart. I need it to break the wedge, the 50 SMA, and the 180 SMA, and turn its way back over $20. $20 is a key spot for Tattooed Chef. That is where I believe we could end up seeing a rally. And like I always say, guys, don't trade based on your biases, where you want the stock to go, because the stock market doesn't care what you want. The stock market's going to do what it does. You have to trade what the market gives you. And as of now, it's not giving us the breakout quite yet, but the fact that we're up 3% today, these could be some initial signs of a pop. And I want to see if this initial pop today, 3%, I want to see if this continues. I want to see, again, like I said, if we get out of $20, $19, $19.50, these are going to be signs that we're reversing to the upside. And Tattooed Chef, they report earnings on the 6th of May. So that is one that I'm super excited about. I'm going to be tuning into that earnings report like a hawk, and I'll probably make an individual video on Tattooed Chef because I like the products and I like the company, hence why I'm invested in it, and I have a trade open in this stock. So Tattooed Chef is interesting. Coinbase is another one that we're making some money on literally as we speak. If you guys were in the Patreon a couple hours ago, I called out a buy order that I was picking up Coinbase. It was at 334.50 or 334.40, right around there. And now it's up about $10 a share. It went up to $342 at the close of the market. It went up 6%. And now it's up even more after hours. It's at about $345. And I mentioned on that Patreon post that I was looking at this as a couple day swing trade, right? And now I'm contemplating just locking in the profits after hours here just to play it safe and take a little 2.5% gain. But I didn't do it yet. I didn't do it yet, to be honest, guys, because I feel like next week Coinbase could see a big rally to test 370. I think that could happen, and I feel like I'd be kicking myself if I were to lock in all the profits right now, take the quick buck from earlier today, because no joke, guys, I got in this a couple hours ago and it played out perfectly, but again, I mean, I'd be kicking myself if it were to break out of 345, go to 370. So for me, I'm already up about $10 a share. I feel like I might as well just let it ride and put a trailing stop loss on it on Monday and just see what it ends up doing. So overall, Coinbase, I'm in this one right now. I'm in it as a trade. Let me clarify that. This is a short-term trade. And yeah, let's see if we can make some money on this. And let me know down below if you are in Coinbase as well. I'd love to know as always. And if you think there's some short-term potential on Coinbase, let me know. And Intel, INTC, is one that I'm watching heading into this upcoming week. They actually report earnings. What day is it? I think it's on the 22nd. So about 6 days from now. So what would that be? Next Thursday, they're going to report earnings. And overall, technically speaking, here on the 4-hour chart, you guys can see it looks like an ascending triangle is forming on Intel. We have resistance at about 68.50, and we're uptrending into that resistance. In fact, we just held a higher low at about 64, and now we're trading at 64.75. We were above 65 earlier in the day, so I'd like to see Intel ideally, guys, break $66. So I'm going to set an alert there. If it could break 66, I think we could fill the gap up to about 68.50 in the short term. That gives it about 3 to 4% upside from where we are right now. And yeah, the earnings report 6 days from now, watch out for that. And Spotify, SPOT, I believe they report as well coming up here. On the end, or on the 28th at the end of April. 28th of April, they're reporting earnings pre-market. So that is not this upcoming week, but the following week after. And Spotify did not do so well today. It went down 2.5%, but we are seeing overall, which is a good sign, a break above 290, and we're holding above 290. And that was a resistance not only in March and the beginning of April, but also back in August, also in October, also in November, early December. So the fact that 290 is breaking, this is great for the bulls. And now we just need to break the 180 moving average here on the 4-hour at about 295. If that were to break, we fill the gap to 310. That could be a nice move. And I think the bigger moves coming once we break 310. If we break 310, I really believe Spotify could get back up probably to maybe let's say from 310 to the mid 320s, 330s. That is where I believe it's going to be going in the short term. So I'm going to put an alert on Spotify. Let's put it at maybe $300, maybe not 295. Actually, no, 295. We'll put it at 295. So yeah, we'll see what happens there with Spotify. And ABBV is another one which I'm pumped about because this looks like it's about to break out on this 4-hour chart. You guys can see we're right at the resistance of this bullish looking wedge that I'm looking at here. And if we take out 108, 109, in my opinion, that is where we're going to see a change of pace here on ABBV. And they just reported, or they're about to report earnings. They just declared their dividend of $1.30. That was on the 14th, so a couple days ago, and they didn't pay the dividend yet. I know this because I own ABBV stock, or maybe the payout is going to come next week. Either way, we're going to see ABBV giving out a dividend, and you guys know when companies pay out a dividend, the share price falls typically by the same amount of that dividend that day, but a lot of the time, not always, but a lot of the time, it tends to recover days after. So keep that in mind with dividend payments in general and ABBV in general, since they are going to be paying out that dividend here soon. But overall, they report earnings at the end of this month on the 30th of April, and I think there's upside to the mid 110s, and I think we could fill that gap. All we need to do is break 109. So I'm going to set an alert at 109 for ABBV, and we'll be monitoring it from there. So create that alert. Perfect. And the last stock for today is Verizon, ticker symbol VZ, and this is another one that I've been watching for a little bit. I believe we mentioned it on the channel a couple days ago or a couple weeks ago, and they just paid their dividend, it looks like, or they just declared it. And the stock dropped a bit after that. Now it looks like it's turning back up. And let me just see, are these the dividend pay dates or when they declare the dividend? Let me double check that and get back to you. Okay, it's the X date. So that means you have to buy the dividend, or the stock rather, before the X date to receive the dividend for the upcoming quarter. And the pay date is on the 3rd of May. So about a couple weeks from now, that is when they're going to pay the dividend. Okay, so that makes sense. So this is the X date right here, and the same applies to ABBV. So they didn't pay yet, ABBV and Verizon, but they declare the dividend. The X date is that little dollar sign you guys see there, and that is going to indicate, okay, we're getting that dividend soon. And overall, we're seeing Verizon, it dropped from $59 to about $57. Now it's curling back up. And if we take out, let's say, $58.50, $59-ish dollars, which is where I'm going to set on alert. Let's put it at $58.75. Might as well put it there. And if we take that point out, guys, I think we're going to go above $60 and probably fill the gap to about $61. And of course, this depends on earnings. Earnings come out in 5 days. If the earnings are crap and we don't break 60, we're going to trash this stock as a short-term trade. It's not even worth the time. But if it's a good earnings report, decent guidance, the stock breaks 59, 60 bucks, there could be a move there for Verizon. So what do you guys think about these stocks? Let me know in the comments. And if you all want me to talk about any stocks for Sunday's video, as a lot of you know, every Sunday we break down about 10, 15 stocks for the upcoming week. We go over the game plan for the upcoming week. So if you want me to go over any stocks, drop them down below in the comments. I'll sift through the comments and I'll make a list for Sunday. And if you all enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe as well. And check out my Patreon if you guys want my real-time buy and sell alerts, call-outs, morning update videos every trading day. We go over stocks that are breaking out pre-market, breaking news, earnings reports, the way the futures are looking like. We go over all of that in the morning update videos on Patreon, so check all of those out. And you guys can get $30 from M1 Finance and $10 from Coinbase. All of those are linked down below. So I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, keep crushing the markets, guys. Stay safe out there. Peace out.